Hey, I'm Oso, and this is Opinions of a Social Outcast. I want to start by saying this. If you've ever felt like you don't quite fit in, like you're watching life from the sidelines, then you're in the right place. I'm someone who's lived a lot of my life as a social outcast, not because I wanted to, but because that's just how things played out. And I have a lot of opinions about that. Opinions about loneliness, about pain, about the small victories that nobody sees, about the messy, complicated emotions we don't talk about in polite conversation. This show is my way of sharing those thoughts. Real talk, no sugarcoating, no pretending I have all the answers. Why? Because I believe there's power in owning your story, even the parts that feel dark or broken. I believe there's a strength in being vulnerable, and I believe that by sharing these stories, we can find connection in the most unexpected places. Over this season, we'll explore topics like grief, fear, boundaries, emotional survival, and more. We'll talk about what it means to be human when you feel like you don't belong. I'm better at talking than writing, and I don't have fancy editing skills. So this is going to be raw, honest, and hopefully a little inspiring. So if you're ready to join me on this journey, I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. I want to start by sharing a story about a time when I really felt like an outcast. I remember walking to school one morning. The sun wasn't quite up yet, but kids were already gathering on the sidewalk. Ahead of me was a group of girls, all wearing the same shoes, the same tight pants, the same slick bun hairstyle. They moved like a unit, perfectly in sync, almost like zombies. And there I was in my black jeans, my favorite band tee, earbuds in, switching between classical piano and alternative rock. I already knew I was different, but that morning it hit me hard. I wasn't just different, I was too different. I was thinking about what the day would bring, but my thoughts kept drifting back to those girls. They seemed so perfectly put together, and well, I didn't fit that picture. When I got to class, I felt like walking into a parallel world. My classmates were chatting about the latest music artists, celebrity gossip, or the game from the night before. I was thinking about the last anime I watched, or a piece by Chopin that made me feel something deep inside. I didn't care about name brands or trends. To them, that meant I was poor or weird or trying to be different on purpose. But honestly, I just liked what I liked. Being tall, mixed race, and dressing the way I did made me stand out in all the wrong ways. And so I started flying solo, not because I wanted to, but because no one was offering me a seat at their table. I want you to think for a moment. Maybe for you, it wasn't in middle school. Maybe it was somewhere else, at work or church, or even in your own family. Have you ever felt like your voice just didn't fit the room? Like the way you think or feel doesn't match the people around you? That feeling, It's a kind of loneliness that cuts deep, like you're there, but you're not really there. But over time, I learned how to be okay with being an outsider. I stopped waiting for an invite. I started learning how to belong to myself. That moment stayed with me. It shaped how I see the world, and it's part of what made me start this show. Before we close today, I want to share a perspective that's helped me from scripture. The Bible is full of stories about people who felt like outcasts, like Joseph, who was sold by his brothers and left to fend for himself in a foreign land, or David, who faced rejection and hardship before becoming king. Even Yahuwah's own prophets often stood apart from society, misunderstood, ignored, or mocked. These stories remind me that sometimes being on the outside isn't rejection. Sometimes it's preparation for a greater purpose. It's a reminder that feeling like an outsider, an outcast, doesn't mean you're without value or hope. If you're listening right now and you've been carrying that outsider feeling too long, just know this: you're not weird, you're not broken, you're different, and that's okay. You have a story that matters. And here, in this space, you are seen.